Josiah Mizukami might initially seem like a typical run-of-the-mill charlatan. He claims to be the Messiah and had plans to revolutionize the world with his pseudo-scientific medical ideas and plans for a new democratic voting system and currency. However, you don't have to dig that deep to find something much darker and to realise that this man is potentially a very dangerous individual. Let's investigate. If you enjoy internet mysteries and generally disturbing content, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can become a Ko-fi member or a channel member to gain access to uncut videos and other perks, or you can leave me a tip by clicking the thanks under this video. Thanks to anyone who considers this. This video will contain vague discussions of topics that some might find triggering. Viewer discretion is advised. Josiah Mizukami is a name you've probably never heard of if you live in the UK or USA. I hadn't until I stumbled across a Reddit post about him that honestly horrified me. I'm not exactly sure where to begin with explaining who this man is, as other than his own website and social media pages, which I can only describe as delusional ramblings, there's next to no information about him online, at least not on the English-speaking web. Here's a brief summary of what I did find. Josiah was a model who has worked with various well-known brands, including Hugo Boss, BMW, Ducati, and Nivea, and he has appeared on the cover of Esquire, Men's Health Thailand, and others. He founded JM Productions in 2009, a company that organises major events and has worked with celebrities, models, and actors from around the world. He was involved in Miss World Malaysia 2009 and Miss World International in 2012. He appeared to have been some kind of host, judging by a photo on his website. In 2011, he was the winner of Clio's 50 Most Eligible Bachelors, whatever the hell that is. Sometime in 2020, I think, Josiah founded Skyview Designs, which he describes as an infinite conglomerate, and started two websites, skyview.design and universalconsciousness.net, and this is where things get crazy. I'm not even sure what this is exactly. I'm honestly so confused by this man and his mission, so apologies if I'm not explaining any of this very well so far. Here's the description on his website. I hope you can make more sense of it than I can. Skyview Design is an infinite conglomerate for the people and by the people. One of Skyview's focuses includes sharing intellectual content regarding life's healthiest nature and nurture. Collaboration with all in mutual respect and harmony fully recognises and supports our universal family's purpose. One main focus is to extend the universal democracy that we live in while developing our optimal state of equality and ending all harmful practices to give way to restoration and innovation. Skyview will continue to share the knowledge and understanding that gives us clear insight and direction on how to proceed in the safest, most efficient, and enjoyable way possible. This includes answers to all of life's questions while providing solutions to all things that have held us back from our true potential. Some of our content includes the math, physics, and origin of all life, and details our infinite reality through our exploration of our shared experiences with advances and memory of our evolution of choice. Understanding our shared architecture of love and its limitless energy flows our clear sight and empowers our absolute control of our present and future. Some of Skyview's projects that you can contribute to and benefit from include a transparent and universal technology-enhanced democratic voting and communication system for all to help put an end to every harmful practice and replace suboptimal systems with optimal, healthy, and efficient systems. The creator's book, entitled The Purpose, will be released soon to answer all questions and help everyone continue on their path of perfection. According to another page on his website, The purpose represents the best path for every individual and for everyone together in harmony. This information clarifies and confirms how the universe works and includes specific details in relation to all known sciences, religions, history, cosmology, biology, mathematics, and all other creations, evolutions, and choice. Josiah seems to say a lot without actually saying anything. His website is just a dump of random statements and partially formed ideas that usually don't end with a conclusion or a plan or any clarification of what the point of any of this is. He did have a YouTube channel that has since been suspended, we'll get onto that, so it's possible that there was more information on those videos, but on his TikTok, in the videos about the purpose, he starts by saying that he'll be sharing what your purpose is, what the purpose of the universe is, exploring science, maths, physics, how to be immortal, how to meet your friends and family in distant galaxies, how to live the fantasy you have always deserved, and various other hints at pseudoscientific nonsense. He just says he will be sharing these things without actually sharing them. The way he speaks in these clips is quite uncanny. If I didn't know better, I might actually wonder if this was one of those AI robots, as there is a lack of emotion in his tone and almost no variation in his facial expression. There are some other clips, for example one where he's thanking people for their support on TikTok, where he looks and talks a bit more like a human, and even occasionally smiles, but I can't help but notice his eyes just look dead, fixed in an intense stare as if there's no one really there. In other clips, he talks about Skyview News, which provides new, diverse and prioritised information to keep us informed, and the governing democratic voting system, which aims to perfect global communications and democratic voting for all, providing transparent and equal voting calculations, and transparent communication for harm-free and efficient architecture. These clips are like something out of Black Mirror. It sounds like Josiah is promoting some kind of futuristic idea and technology, but there's something deeply unsettling about it, like there's a dark agenda hidden behind the dream he's selling. There is a page about the Governing Democratic Voting System, or GDVS, on his website, but again, I'm left with more questions than answers after reading it. On that page, there is also a paragraph about Goldcoin, quote, "Goldcoin is currency perfected. It is secure, stable, appreciating, and all transactions are permanently listed publicly for total transparency. Every possible exchange is pre-approved by GDVS and its voting community as harm-free and optimal, with added security of ratified and public identification peer-to-peer. Goldcoin's stability is finite and in positive motion, recognizing GDVS and its core principles of optimality and purpose-based economics. Each wallet is secure cryptographically, and the source production is unlimited so long as the exchange is harm-free. With GDVS and Goldcoin, if the people want it and it's harm-free, they can and should have it." You may notice that Josiah often uses the phrase harm-free. As you'll soon come to realise, his definition of harm-free is very different to that of any rational and moral individual. Anyway, considering Josiah asks for donations to contribute and benefit from the development of GDVS and Goldcoin and provides a link to Patreon, I think it's safe to say this is a scam. Add in the various other business ideas he has, from a nutritional plan and cure for Alzheimer's and cancer, to plans to open a travel agency, and he's really going in from all angles. Overall, he seems to be proposing a new way of life, not just with his currency and voting system, but also his new age ideas relating to the universe, immortality, etc. There was no chance of these ideas taking off on a wide scale, and surely Josiah himself must have known that, so I can only assume that he hoped to draw in and brainwash a smaller group of people. Thankfully, he managed to get himself cancelled before he gained many followers on any platform, but I wonder if left unchecked, this could have been the beginning of a cult. Josiah certainly gives off cult leader vibes, not only with the ideas he promoted, but with his personality in general. There's a video on YouTube uploaded by David E. Taylor, Full Frontal Exposure 2.0, that shows a 1 hour, 12-minute conversation with Josiah in which he basically never stops talking. David can barely get a word in, as Josiah rarely even takes a breath between discussing the purpose, consciousness, exploring the universe, how to be harm-free towards bacteria using UV technology, communicating with the gods, creating the perfect government, unifying everyone, miracles, and more. He generally comes across as very narcissistic and boasts about his intelligence and success, saying he always found school very easy, left after the 3rd grade, yet that didn't hold him back in life, and he never had any problems getting promotions when he started working. David pretended that he wanted to invest $100,000 in order to obtain information from Josiah, and when he asked where the money would be spent, Josiah was forced to admit that the money would go straight to him as there was no one else involved in the company, and that he would spend it on completing his book so he could give everyone the answers. I don't know whether or not Josiah actually believes the rubbish he's spouting. He says that his information and the systems he has suggested comes from his conversations with the gods, and while he rambles a lot, he does speak very fluently and in great detail, even when asked obscure questions about his communication with the gods, so if he isn't delusional, he certainly put a lot of time and effort into fabricating these stories. He also refers to himself as a god on multiple occasions. We're really getting through the cult checklist here. Quote, "I am the true Messiah, and I'm the righteous king, and I perform miracles all over this planet." In this conversation with David, he claims that he always felt this way, however it's only in the last couple of years that he started talking about it publicly, so I feel like something must have happened that triggered some kind of psychosis that caused him to embark on this bizarre journey. It seems that the purpose was still in the preliminary stages, a crazy mix of abstract ideas that hadn't yet been joined to form a congruent narrative, but presumably some direction would have started to emerge at a later date. That would be if Josiah had been left unchecked to continue spreading the word, but he recently came under fire for a number of sickening beliefs he started promoting alongside the quackery. While the purpose of the purpose isn't entirely clear, what is clear is that Josiah is at best a very misguided individual, and at worst he's a straight-up predator. In October 2022, a post was made on the cult subreddit titled, "Creepy wannabe cult leader on YouTube, please report to YouTube admins." It contained a link to one of Josiah's videos, but since his channel has been removed for violating YouTube's guidelines, the video is now no longer available. A few days later, Mutaha from the Some Ordinary Gamers channel uploaded a video on Josiah which featured a few clips from his now deleted channel, and what he says in these clips is honestly revolting. Perhaps the most shocking was Josiah's assertion that, quote, "Pedophilia in itself is completely righteous, it's harm-free." In order to avoid a copyright strike, Mutaha couldn't show too much of the videos, but Josiah had elaborated a little on these views in his conversation with David E. Taylor a month prior. He said that his definition of a pedophile was someone who loves children, meaning that most people in the world would be classed as one. He stated that contact between an adult and a child, even a child as young as 5 years old, is harm-free, providing both individuals consent to that contact, because the 5-year-old is giving their democratic vote. He even went as far as to imply that it's a sin for an adult to not act on these feelings as long as the child says yes, because they would be restricting their love out of fear. This is obviously ludicrous. He seemingly doesn't even consider that a child, especially one as young as 5, isn't mentally mature enough to even understand what they're consenting to, let alone to foresee the potential ramifications when they are eventually old enough to comprehend what happened. Young children are often curious and open to trying new things, and to use this naivety to literally abuse them really isn't that much better than forcing them to do these things against their will. When someone commented on one of Josiah's YouTube videos stating that his definition of pedophilia is wrong, he replied with, "I understand that there are a mix of definitions from different people on what pedophilia is, and I can assure you that loving children in all ways that are natural, including accepting love from children in all ways that are natural, include harm-free pedophilia. There are many examples of harm-free pedophilia and I know many people in many forms of life that enjoy healthy relationships with children and older people that would be called a variety of different forms of pedophilia. You also don't need to study to know how you feel personally, and I've accepted many loving relationships with young women that many would consider children in beautiful ways, and I'm currently in relationships that are sexual with women that could be considered children. The problem is when people are harmful, and harm can be mistakenly expressed and chosen if anyone stops loving and begins supporting harmful decisions, which includes restricting love. We can see how many natural feelings have been suppressed in the history of the human race due to believing false information and misjudging the infinite nature of love, as in the cases some people have forced against homosexuality, women's rights, racial equality, and the way some view the rights of children as similar on Earth in many ways. Please enjoy your own advice and search your heart and mind for the truth on pedophilia while enjoying all of the positive history of it being enjoyed correctly by all consensual parties in many cultures and in many ways, while looking forward to the end of harmful suppression of children and the forms of child and adult abuse many have been unfortunate to choose on this planet, which would satisfy your natural desire to make sure no one is harmfully exploited, which includes respecting and supporting the rights of animals and all life. So not only is this comment bewildering with the way that Josiah tries to rationalise such an obviously immoral act, it's incriminating too, as he actually admits to having inappropriate contact with children himself. This isn't the first time either. In the interview with David E. Taylor, he stated that he had such contact with a 15-year-old when he was 21, which is bad enough in itself, but this man is now 36, so if he's engaging with children, that's any age below 18, that's kids who are less than half his age. And somehow, according to him, that's righteous because they agreed to it. They didn't consent, let's make that clear. I honestly can't believe I have to say this, but children cannot consent, and the words pedophilia and harm-free should not even be uttered in the same sentence. It should surprise no one that Josiah is also an advocate of inappropriate contact with animals. He defines it as an attraction between human beings and animals and says, quote, "This is something we all share in a wonderful and natural way. It's something that has been recorded throughout human history and is in itself beautiful. And these types of relationships can be just like a relationship between a man and a woman. Something loving and completely natural. Something, of course, that should be harm-free." When someone commented on his video saying that animals cannot consent, he replied with, "Yes, they can. They have freedom of choice as well. Please stop trying to reduce the rights of other beings. Correct yourself for your own best interests and the best interests of all people." This man is out here promoting child and animal abuse, yet he's telling others to stop trying to reduce the rights of other beings. This is truly baffling. Oh, and he's in favour of incest. Just like with kids and animals, he believes that contact with family members is natural, righteous, and wonderful. What makes all this all the more worrying is that Josiah has at least one child. I've seen conflicting information on that child's exact age, but apparently they're either a baby or a young toddler. Everything Josiah has said in his videos leads me to believe that there is a strong chance that this child is in danger and that he should not be allowed anywhere near them. At this point, I really don't know what Josiah's agenda is. If I only saw his website and wasn't aware of the crazy views he shared on YouTube, I'd think that perhaps he's just trying to scam people out of their money, considering he asks for donations, not to mention the dubious gold coin. But surely he must know that his views on pedophilia and other crimes would not be popular. The pool of people who would fall for his quackery is relatively small anyway. Mix in these highly controversial opinions, and he's targeting a very niche group of people here. I can only assume that he is genuinely delusional and actually believes all of this. The notion that he is mentally ill is supported by a few comments on Reddit and Facebook from people claiming to know him. Of course, they can't be verified, so take them with a pinch of salt, but a woman who said she is related to him stated that he lost his mind and that there are SA charges against him after he allegedly had inappropriate contact with a disabled girl. A Reddit user had this to say on a post on the Cult subreddit. "I've known Josiah for over 8 years. I know for a fact he developed schizophrenia and messiah complex with age, and he wasn't like this before. Please refrain from taking anything he says at face value, since he literally perceives reality abnormally. I have tried to get him into treatment before, but the laws and rights for the mentally ill in this country is such that unless he is a danger to himself or others, he cannot be committed by anyone involuntary. Please do not threaten him with violence or even try to debate or argue with him, as his condition will not let him respond logically and he will just use word salad in response. His sister and friends are all trying to see how they can get him committed to treatment. Threatening or arguing with him is useless. Just do not engage with him." There are also allegations on that same Reddit post relating to Josiah allegedly being linked to 3 people who went missing, one being a 6-month-old child, though I couldn't find any more information to corroborate that. I did come across an article from 2014 where a Josiah Mizukami, presumably the Josiah we're discussing here, was interviewed by the Straits Times about his close friend who had recently been murdered, though it doesn't seem like he was ever considered a suspect in that case. Josiah was either in Malaysia while he was posting these disgusting videos on YouTube, or he fled to Malaysia when he received backlash for them. I've heard conflicting reports. Either way, he returned to Hawaii in October 2022 and was detained by police at the airport, who seized his electronics and launched an investigation into him. As of now, it doesn't sound like any charges have been brought against him, though if any of the allegations against him are true, or if he was telling the truth when he admitted to having inappropriate contact with children, it's probably only a matter of time until the investigation uncovers evidence that can be used in a trial against him. According to Mutahar in his update video, Josiah's partner and his child are safe and not with Josiah. I infer that his partner had either already reported him to the police or that she was cooperating with the investigation to ensure her child's safety. At the beginning of December 2022, Mutahar uploaded another video after Josiah had found a way to return to YouTube and doubled down on the controversial statements that led to him being investigated in the first place. He claimed that YouTube wrongfully terminated his channel, that he shouldn't have been detained by Homeland Security, and that every day they hold his electronics is a travesty and their guilty charge is increasing. He also revealed that Child Protective Services and police officers with guns showed up at his house and, quote, abducted his son, who he claims he never abused and never would. However, as we've already established, Josiah doesn't seem to know what abuse is, and what I, and hopefully anyone else watching this video, would class as abuse, he has his own contrived definition of: a natural, righteous, and harm-free act. And for now, that's where this story ends, though it feels like the end of a chapter rather than the end of the book, considering the investigation has not yet reached a conclusion. I honestly don't know what direction this case will take next. I'm inclined to believe Josiah when he admitted to being in contact with children. I don't know why anyone would lie about that. Though of course many signs point to him suffering with some kind of mental illness, so who knows. And regardless of how he tries to justify his alleged actions, if he is telling the truth, he committed a crime. Whether or not police will find enough evidence to convict him of these crimes remains to be seen, but if nothing else, at least we know that he has been stopped in his tracks before he had the chance to start a cult, as it seems like that's the direction this could have headed. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments, plus any other controversial internet personalities you'd like me to cover. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Huge thank you to my Ko-fi members and channel members whose names are on screen now. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday in a new video.